sounds anticlimactic, but it will.
No, because I was one of those, I went vegetarian because I really thought we needed protein and I really
Yeah,
didn't think fish were the same. I don't know what I was thinking, but I truly didn't think fish felt the pain that cows and
same,
chickens felt.
same,
Same.
same.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
not the only one.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a product of the messaging, the profit narratives and how keen and clever and potent their messaging is. I thought the same thing. I thought like fish were plants for the most part, like
Yeah.
what the heck, I did my share of fishing, and I always felt like something was off, when I was doing it. But the 99% inertia just made me not think that. It was just like a whisper and then it was gone, just as per the thickness of the conditioning effect.
Yeah, a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? We're live. Hi, guys.
Amazing. Hi, guys.
What's up? My name is Jeannette, also known as Misfit Vegan, and I'm here with James, highly requested, back on my
Yes.
channel. And
Oh,
today
amazing.
yeah, everybody loves you. I got a lot of good feedback, text messages,
Uh,
emails on you,
oh
and
my. Okay.
yeah,
Oh, that's
everybody really
lovely.
appreciates you and your wisdom
Oh,
and what you're doing. And so, guys, I'll leave James' link below to his YouTube and his Instagram. He's a vegan activist. He's been vegan for 13 years.
13 years
Yes.
now.
And today we're going to go through the top 10 anti-vegan questions or the top 10 questions that vegans get because it's important for us to know how to answer these. Nobody
Yes.
teaches us this. It's certainly
Yeah.
not a popular thing, only 1%. What is the percentage of vegans in the world?
Oh gosh, the last time I checked, it was between 1% and 3% on a global basis. I mean, I don't know how like accurate the measuring is of that, and how can you really accurately measure that? But 1 to 3% last time I checked. So,
Yeah, nobody's ever asked me if I'm vegan. I always have to tell them.
yeah,
Nobody's
yeah,
ever come to
right,
my
yeah,
door and said, "Are you vegan?" Okay, let me write
yeah,
that down.
yeah, right, yeah,
Like the
yeah, yeah.
senses never asked.
Hmm.
But let's get started because we have some good questions. We have top
Yeah.
10 and then we have three additional ones. The first question I want to ask you, James, I want to
Okay.
know how you answer this,
Okay.
which is what about all the animals that are killed to farm your fruit and vegetables? How do you respond when somebody says, "Well, you think you're better than me? You don't eat any, you don't kill animals?" Well, you know how many animals are killed by farming?
Yeah.
You say to that.
Okay. Well, first of all, that has been really cemented into kind of our culture by the ways of Joe Rogan and his guests. Somehow this has further compounded this argument, and a lot of people, anti-vegans, get that argument from watching Joe Rogan. Big
Oh.
face palm for one. You go into him for a source of wisdom and actual legitimate argument. So I basically answer in a few ways. So first we can look at basic energy dynamics and how things work. Like a cow has, on a very general basis, an 8 to 1 energy conversion ratio. So that just means we input 8 units of energy as far as its feed, its soy, its corn, its wheat, and it's going to, after assimilating everything kind of intra-anatomically, output 1 unit for that 8. So it's very inefficient as far as the energy conversion ratio, right? So if I were to take that which I just framed there and just copy it and then paste it into the backdrop of this argument, then we can say that if you're not vegan, you are killing 8 times more plants, which we're implying that rodents, bees, bugs, little animals are going to be killed because of the farming of our crops. We can take confidence in knowing that if you're not vegan, you're killing 8 times more of those animals, just like you're killing 8 times more of the plants. That we'll get into that argument, I'm sure too, but it goes for that argument as well. So it's really a full stop to the conversation, and from there, they usually go somewhere else. But if you just point out that if you're not vegan, you're killing 8 times more plants and you're killing 8 times more of the animals you're bringing up because of simple energy dynamics and how farming affects. So another thing I'd like to piggyback on top of that, people will come up sometimes I won't even go into that. I'll just go straight to kind of reference what we talked about a second ago, how only 1 to 3% of the population is vegan, right? So that means 97% of people are not vegan. So that means 97% of farmers are not vegan. So because they don't have this kind of evolved consciousness, and maybe it's a myriad of things that are blocking that, probably conditioning and culture and all the things, that kind of foster this current world we live in, they don't give a crap about the animals. They don't give a crap about the bees, bugs, foxes. They're going to kill them because they don't have vegan hearts. They do, but they've been, kind of nullified, unfortunately, by profit narratives and money. So how in the world do you expect us to convince, you, sir or ma'am, uh, that killing an animal or taking an animal's life is wrong when I can't even, I can't convince that farmer who's stewarding the crops to not kill the animal or steward his crops um, in a general way. So I know this is a very long-winded answer, but I mean, it kind of sometimes has to warrant it because it's such an insidious kind of argument that they come up with that they really want to leverage, and it really gives them psychological gratification in exacting it as such. So I'll sit there for a few minutes and display that to them, and 10 times out of 10, it's responded with there's no rebuttal, there's nothing, because it is a full stop on both points.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
a
that's
good point. What do you think the cows eat? Like
yeah,
if you care about, so you're like saying, well, you kill plants. Okay, that's another one, James. Plants feel pain too.
yeah,
You're kill like yesterday on my lives, I was cutting up jackfruit and somebody said, stop killing the jackfruit. What do you say when people say plants feel pain too?
yeah. I mean, for one, if we're just looking at like the fruit, or okay, I would say this is something that you don't need to look at peer-reviewed research or some kind of materialistic written out science to reference. This isn't something you go to an authority to get your answers from. All you got to do is look inwards. Come on. Like it's such a like disingenuine type of posturing, right? Because they know. They're just kind of it's just a version of trolling and wanting to steward their own feelings and keep themselves feeling good about themselves. They know if you look at the harvesting of a jackfruit, and then you're looking at the harvesting of an animal, which one is your heart? Which one is going to make your heart sink when you see it get harvested? It's not the jackfruit. It's the living being, seeing, feeling, subject to this beautiful world animal. And they know this. It just comes from a place of very uh, disingenuousness, I suppose. And then plants don't have sentience. I mean, this is a factor too, which is a property of a nervous system in a brain. So they can't feel. Why do they stay where they're at? Because the the kind of intelligence and the knowing of it all knew that they wouldn't need to have to go anywhere because they don't have those feelings, those pain receptors, etc. So the kind of evolution, answers that question as well. Um, and it's just common sense. I mean, it gets to the point to where I don't even want to answer these questions because it just leads down this kind of path where we're entertaining the person's, whether they know it or not, disingenuineness, and we kind of get away from the animals a bit. But definitely worth knowing a nice answer to just stop that ridiculousness.
Yeah, I like that. Would you feel more comfortable killing a chicken or an apple? And therefore, you can answer the question for yourself. Like,
Yeah,
I get what they're doing. They're trying to justify their lifestyle. Because some people will be like, you only live once, so you might as well indulge in all the foods you love. What do you say
Yeah.
to people that say they only live once and it doesn't matter? One person going vegan won't make a difference.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Well, I mean, the whole spirit of this whole thing is to not look from your own eyes. It's to kind of look for the good of the whole for everybody, including the animals. And, all I would answer back with in that kind of line of questioning would be, well, why don't we tilt to the animal outlook? And from the animal's outlook, how well is that going to stand up, that reasoning right there? You only live once, because you only live once is their entire life gone in seconds just for a yum yum, a meal they're going to forget in 2 weeks. So it's your purview. It's the outlook of which you operate from. And as realized, compassionate human beings, we should all live that golden rule, which is all veganism is the golden rule. And we can extend that to animals easily in 2025.
Yes, yes, yes. I always say you only live once. That's why I want to live a life that matches my ethical and moral values. And I
Yeah,
want to feel my best. I want to live my best. I want to be here in a like high quality state because you
yeah,
could live a long life in a wheelchair for the
yeah,
last 25 fucking years. But
yeah,
like I want to live as long as possible, as high quality as possible. And
yeah.
so you only live once. So
Yeah,
why
you only
fuck
live
it up?
once. Like they're
Why
they're
fuck
just
it
taking.
up?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Look at your own advice and just back up a little bit. That's what it's all about is just backing up and looking with sound perspective.
Yeah, and you know what I like to do, James, with these anti-vegan people? I always like to take a lesson and think, okay, where in my life am I justifying an addiction?
Yeah,
Because that's just what they're doing. They're like,
yeah,
oh, but plants feel pain too, so I might as well eat this dead animal because you're killing too. You're killing
yeah,
too. And that's just an addiction.
yeah,
Like me, I say to myself, oh, I can't get off my phone at night because I'm working. I'm saving lives. I'm changing the world. I got to stay up all night and work. But
yeah.
that's an addiction to my phone. Like that's an addiction to work. Like we're justifying addictions, guys. So
I
yeah,
know I do it too. I know I do it too. And I'm trying to get underneath some of them right now as we
human
speak as well.
nature, right? To
Yeah.
justify what we
Yep.
want to do.
Yeah.
That's not good for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
The number one question you probably get asked, and correct me if I'm wrong, is where do you get your protein? Right?
It's 100% number one. 100% number one question. Yeah. It's incredible.
So where do you
It's
get your
incredible.
protein,
And it's
Jane?
like, it's just like a bellwether to how thick the messaging is. It's like, these people are not stupid. I know they're not. I know they're not
Yeah.
stupid. I know a lot of them are very smart, and it's just a bellwether of how thick the conditioning is just laid on by these profit narratives. Like the whole protein thing is still not going away. I'm
So
out there.
where do you get your protein?
Yeah, you tell them. I say, well, what do the animals eat? That's the first thing. What do the animals eat? And then they answer the question, and then they have like that light bulb moment, and I'm just there, like observing everything. Like, okay, so okay, you did ask me, so I get my protein from beans, chickpeas, lentils, grains, rice, fruit and vegetables, tofu, tempeh, seitan, and I go down this little rhyme, pretty much because it's in everything, man. You look at
Yeah.
an orange, and it's got a full essential amino acid.
Wait till you go raw.
I
You
know, I know.
forget about it.
Uh,
Forget about it.
yeah, 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 yeah. I had some carrots yesterday. Like you said, they're great satiators. I had some carrots yesterday. Yep, I had quite a few actually. But side note. But yeah, so that whole thing is the number one. It's the number one. And at least being an outreacher, in which I would hope to, and maybe later I can encourage others to in a few simple ways to do the same thing. You can help dispel these things and just like, bring people back to knowing, with just some sound information because they just don't know. They really do think you can only get high quality protein from an animal. I ask them, well, what is it in the protein? What's the magical unicorn X factor? I literally said those exact words Saturday night when someone asked me that. And it's always a ba. It's just higher quality. Nobody can lament if anything like really factual or material. It's just what they've been told. So yeah, that's what I initially do. I say, where do the animals get it? and then I tell them how I get all my protein. And if they want to argue, I try to fizzle out the argument and rein it back to the animals.
Yes. And now, if anybody has any anti-vegan questions that they want to know or that they get asked, please put it in the chat and I'll ask
100%.
James. Okay.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Martha, for being here. Thank you, everyone. Now, I just want to go down the list of all the vegan animals: elephants, giraffes, horses, zebras, cows, bison, rhinos, gorillas, orangutans, rabbits, deer, sheep, guinea pigs, parrots, doves, iguanas, tortoises, and there's a lot more. I just need you to know some of the biggest animals in the world:
Yeah.
elephants,
Yeah. Incredible.
bison,
Giant.
gorillas, bonobos. They eat 98% fruit, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Like bonobos, and
Bison? I didn't know that.
yeah,
Wow.
there was a restaurant in New York called Bonobos. That was so
Oh,
fucking cool. It was a raw vegan restaurant. And
oh, cool.
so they eat mostly fruit. They eat leaves and shoots, and I guess they might eat one bug a year or something because it's on the fruit, but like they're
Yeah.
pretty much frugivores. And so are we. We have the same genetics as bonobos. Now,
Absolutely.
sheep and goats, all these guys, cows. Your fucking
Cows.
1,000-pound cow is a vegan.
Yeah. I didn't know bison, or I did not know bison were vegan. For some reason, I thought they ate different kinds of foods. Yeah, it makes sense though. I mean, it's right in that same, kind of family. They
Yes.
are right in that same kind of
So
family.
you get your protein. I always say, people ask me every single day, and they will always ask you. And now Thanksgiving and Christmas is coming up.
Oh,
Be around family, and they're going to ask
graceful
you.
impact. Yep.
Yeah, they're somebody's going to ask you, where do you get your protein? Or isn't that too much sugar? Or where do you get your B12 or whatever? And you
Oh,
need to know these answers. So where do you get your
yep.
protein? Okay, they ask me, where do I get my protein? From fruit. And there's plenty of
Yeah.
protein in fruit, and I've been doing it for 15 years. So now,
Yep.
when your family and friends ask, you can either go the route of, you can say fruit, there's protein in everything, or you could just, if you don't want to talk about it, I always say, just tell them nuts and seeds. I get my protein from nuts and
Yeah.
seeds because
Yeah. Yeah.
everybody accepts that, James.
Yeah. It's more better for a flow.
Beans,
And
like
yeah.
quinoa, like they accept that. And if you don't want to get into the whole thing, just say nuts and seeds and call it a fucking day and say
Yeah.
pass
So you don't get
pass
caught up in it.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
pass the persimmons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the table. Like
What are
change
they
the
going to say to
subject.
that? Yeah, yeah,
Change
yeah.
the
Well,
subject.
actually, there's nothing to say. They can say to that,
They don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Now, so where do you get your protein? Done. What's okay? The second question: what's wrong with drinking milk? Many people think milk is harmless because, some people say, oh, I'm sure you heard this. If the cows don't get milked, it's very unhealthy for them. We have to milk the cows because they have extra milk. And so the question is,
Yeah.
cows aren't killed for their milk. What's the harm? And what really happens to cows in the dairy industry? What's the harm, James, in having ice cream, having cheese? What's the
Yeah.
problem?
It's funny you're asking these questions because I got these same exact questions Saturday night. So far, 2 for 2 with these last two questions.
Wow.
And they were genuinely interested in the cow, in the milk factor. And I told them the whole idea here is to back up and see the system you're voting for. You're window dressed with that idea. The industry window dresses that idea. It's just showing cows in the field getting milked by a farmer. They love it. They need it. Drinking milk is great for calcium. You get the mustache thing. It's great for working out. But that's a window dressing. That's architecture by profit narratives. I mean, so I tell them about the genesis. A cow is born. If the cow is male, he may go to beef, he may go to veal. If the cow is female, she very well may likely be grown to be a dairy cow. And in her life, she will be taken advantage of 5 or 6 times against her will. A farmer will put his hand in her privates and do things that, and a lot of times I'm finding myself not really wanting to go on and explain this because, it's just graphic and they get the hint that it's and they know that it's graphic. I don't have to go too deep into this. And, after she's done and she has been exploited for everything she is literally worth monetarily, she's considered a spent cow. And then she's taken out to a shed and, door closes and the farmer raises his scythe and that's about it for her. And I just kind of paint a little story there for them because it's crueler than beef on an aggregate everything combined total basis. I mean, we're talking violence, essaying. We're talking total exploitation till the body is weathered, beaten, and done. We're talking total psychological, just you get emotional just talking about it, and that's what they are voting for or that's what we are voting for when we're just vegetarian. You know, so I try to give them um, a little 101 on what dairy really is. So
I have been, yeah, that was, thank you. This is very important. So I have been told a few times that, I say, do you know how much suffering went into that slice of pizza? It's not, just because you don't see the blood doesn't mean there's not blood literally in there. There is blood mixed in with the birthing fluid.
yeah, it's another thing. Yeah,
But then people tell me, well, do you know how much suffering went into your cell phone? Human suffering, the what is
I
it
get
called?
that too. Yeah,
Sweatshops
I get
and
that too.
the,
Yeah,
the clothing,
yeah,
so how do you, what do
yeah.
you say to that?
It's a perfect follow-up question. This is what I tell them. I tell them that veganism is not perfection. It's not. Veganism is simply doing your best. And we all know what our best is intuitively. And all of us, all 98% of us that are here, at least in the US, we can all agree that our best is at least yielding a live animal its own bodily autonomy by removing our dollar from all these systems. That is the least and the bare minimum that we can all do is be vegan.
Mm,
So it's doing your best. There's no nirvana perfect, vegan that lives out there. We all have. If you're if you're defining veganism like that, but veganism was never defined like that anyway. Donald Watson, he was I guess he championed the word for the first time, and he said it's doing what is most practicable and possible. So right there, underneath that is the notion of doing your best. There's no perfection. So people use these things just like they use the plant arguments and the crop death arguments to just kind of steward their own feelings and their own psychological gratification. But they do know, underneath everything, it's just we have to kind of plant seeds and help them get there. They do know, but it's just the conditioning by the profit narratives is so effing thick. I mean,
yes,
they did it. They did a great job at that. Profit narratives,
yes.
you got to hand it to them. They've done a great job at just really fooling people.
Yes. Now, playing devil's advocate with that, some people, they truly believe that they need to eat animal products or supplements from animals because of their health. And, they have kids and they have families and they have to be here for them to take care of them. And they don't want to eat animal products, but they believe from either a doctor or a friend or a family member that they need to have animal products for their B12 or for their this, for their that. What do you say to that person who is doing their best and they think that, having an animal product is like that? Unfortunately, they have to have that
Yeah.
for their health.
I would never tell someone, yeah, don't do that when they believe so convictedly, like they need it for their health, because that's just not a nice thing to do, in my humble opinion. You respect people's conviction, especially when it comes to their bodily autonomy as well. What I would do in a situation like that is just really do my best to back them up and to hopefully plant seeds that will have them make an effort to start backing up and looking at things from just a more of a macro perspective and actually seeing things, because more often than not they're victims of the powerful placebo effect and they think that they need these things. But when you have doctors and messagings and materialistic
Yeah.
means that are telling you all these things, you will grow a sense of genuine conviction, thinking you do need these things. But I would try to use my own intuition to guide them to kind of look, to do my best to have them make an effort to start at least looking over things and seeing things in a little more of a truthful light. Um, when you kind of sense that palpable impasse where you're not going to change their mind, um, you can just be compassionate to them. And, like we were talking about in the last one, people are wounded,
Yeah.
they're really wounded. And what good would it be for us to kick them when they're down? The best we can do is use our intuition, back up a little bit and just speak from compassion and hopefully guide them to see things, how they are. So,
Yes, just last night on Misfit Mondays, that's my private community, I was telling
oh, cool.
everyone how in the interview you really helped me because now I see people as suffering. Because when you eat suffering, you are suffering in your
Yeah,
body, mind, and spirit. And
yeah,
so people are suffering, and I don't want to kick people when they're suffering.
yeah,
So I'm trying my best to be nicer to people that ask me, where do you get your protein and these things that really frustrate me because it's obvious, like I'm not dying. Clearly, we're
yeah.
getting enough protein. It's obvious, but I always look at people that are doing this for much, much longer than me, like Fred Bishi, like Aris Latham, like Arnold Ehret. Well, Arnold Ehret was killed, but anyway, okay. So, you know about Arnold Ehret?
No, I, no,
Oh
I
man.
honestly, I don't. You mentioned Fred in the last one. I still
Yes.
haven't followed up and looked at
Fred
his.
Bishi. Another one is, like Dr. Morse, over 50 years without dead animal body parts. And then all these people that are doing this, and Osborne, 34 years fruitarian, much longer than me. So I don't need to worry about protein. Now, somebody in the chat said, thank you, foxes and wolves. Thank you for being here. I'm vegan and I won't change, but I see people online saying that they've been aging or losing their hair when they went vegan. James, do you what do you say about this? Do you think people lose their hair or age faster as they, what a ridiculous. But I see it too. I see it too. You
Hey, we
need animal
appreciate the
products
question.
for the
Yeah,
collagen, whatever,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
protein for the muscles, I guess. What do you
yeah.
say to people that say that you age faster and you lose your hair when you go vegan?
I mean, I think it's just somebody unfortunately heard something that somebody's saying, and anecdotes are anecdotes. There's a whole myriad, a whole cacophony of different, certain situations as far as people's hair and their face and different things that we can attribute to really a whole host of sources. We just can't measure and ever definitively connect that to, especially a diet. I mean, maybe if it's really extreme in a certain form and it has to do with like eating raw animals, I don't know. Maybe that can't be good for your skin or your teeth or anything like that. But it's just anecdotes or anecdotes. They really
Yeah.
hold no weight at all. And they're still so widely referenced when it comes to
Yeah. Just look at the fucking population. Dude, people are not
yeah, yeah,
healthy. They're not looking good. They're losing their hair and they're not vegan. And by
yeah.
the way,
98%.
James,
Yeah.
98%. You have a
Yeah.
good point though about the percentages, which I think there's a lot more vegans on the planet, but we don't know about it because
Yeah, could very well be the case.
nobody's
Yeah.
asked me ever.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
could very well be the case. Me, like really me either, unless I mean, yeah, not I see what you're saying. Like, how are they taking stock of all this on a really truthful, in a really
And then
truthful
how are you taking stock of who's losing their hair and who's looking younger and who's looking older? Like
point?
James, how
Yeah,
old are
yeah,
you?
yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah, how old are
Thank
you?
you for the question, though.
Yeah,
Say
yeah.
again.
How old are you,
I'm
James?
43. I just turned
Okay.
43. So.
43. I'm about to be 41. Guys, we don't look our age,
Yeah,
but
and
we're not
believe it
losing
or
our
not,
hair either.
I have the same hairline I had when I was 21 years old. It's the exact same. I people think that I look like I'm 30 sometimes. I
Yep.
mean, I, I'm fit, probably more fit than 98% of people. I mean, there's an anecdote for you, I guess. I don't know, you want that one? Use that one, look at the
My hair
positive
was
anecdotes.
falling out when I used to eat dead animal body parts and take
Oh, wow.
biotin and take cod liver oil and all these things for my hair. And I was trying to have omegas and everything. So yeah, I mean, I wish I could find photos of me when I was 20 with my hair was so thin
Yeah.
and falling out and horrible.
Yeah, it's all
So
that crap that goes into the body from all the lipids and the hormones, the IGF-1, the fats, saturated fats, copious amounts of it,
yeah.
all just the cocktail of just death. It's not going to be good for your hair. It's not going to be good for your skin. And anybody saying otherwise is just lost.
Look at the whole totality of humanity right now. They're not doing something right. Like there's something
Yeah,
wrong. So don't go along with what people are saying because look at what they're getting. Look at the results people are getting. Now
yeah.
let's talk about the eggs, please, because a lot of people
Oh,
eat
yeah,
eggs. First of all, a lot of people don't
yeah.
even know that there is one place that chickens defecate from, and they also lay eggs from. So eggs come from a chicken's asshole. People
Yeah.
don't know that. They
Yeah.
don't know that.
What's it
And
called?
they're,
It's a cloaca, right? I think it's called a
yes,
cloaca,
yes.
I think.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there's one and exit, and your egg comes from the same place they
Right
shit.
out of there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's
And
number
you can
one.
see. Yep.
Number two is, can you tell us what is so horrible about supporting the egg industry? Like, what's wrong with
Yeah.
eating eggs? It's not even an animal. It's like it's I don't know what they're thinking it is, but what is so wrong with eating eggs as far as a cruelty standpoint?
Yeah, great question. And once again, and I'll get this question on the street all the time. I'll back up and I'll tell a little story about how the system works. So in the system, you have chicks, and when they're born, they're either male or female. If they are male, they got this really industrial grade kind of Vitamix machine that they're going to have running. And if it's a male, it's a quick little take into the machine where they're just ground up alive. Seeing all their, new all these little brothers and sisters that have just come into the world as well, all just looking up at just the Grim Reaper about to take everything. And that's what happens to the males. The females, they'll grow up, maybe they'll be chickens, maybe they'll go, or where they won't, well, yeah, they could be chickens or whatever's going to happen, the eggs will turn out to be food for people. But if they're born male, if they're born male, then they go into a blender. That's
And what
the
happens after they go in the blender? What do they do with that?
Yeah, God knows. It's some landfill. I don't know where
No,
where.
I'm pretty sure they probably feed it to the fucking
Oh yeah,
animals to eat,
yeah. Or it
right?
goes into McDonald's meat, or it goes. Who
They
knows?
definitely use it. They
They
sell it.
might use it. Well, I won't go there. Yeah, who knows? It could be a canvas for a certain vitamin to extrapolate bacteria. Who
Oh.
knows how what they're doing when they're recycling all this resource and all this dead, former living matter. But yeah, when you vote for eggs, you're voting for male chicks to go into a blender, long and short of it all. And then you're also contributing to a system that takes something from someone that they never consented to, and they're using it for your own benefit. That's called exploitation. Yeah.
Eggs exploitation. Yeah,
Hey, I like that. Yeah, yeah, exploitation.
yeah,
Yes,
continue.
exactly, exactly. So it's just not nice. And you can. There's some activists that I follow, Mel and Steve. They're fantastic activists. They have I think I just sent you a short earlier today
Oh
that was
yeah.
Mel that she was talking about end of the dayism, or the video was on the end of the dayism. But they have chickens and they take great care of them. Sometimes they do live streams showing the chickens, petting them. They all got names. When they have an egg, they'll take it, they'll pick it up, they'll throw it on the ground, and then the chicken will eat the calcium, the protein, the vitamins, the minerals, and it's great for them. They want to do that, and then that keeps them healthy. There's no need to super harvest all these eggs, and then us as human beings putting all the cholesterol, cancer-causing properties, fat, massive amounts of saturated fat into our bodies to clog up our blood vessels. Um,
Parasites.
yeah, parasites. Um,
God only really knows. Mucus.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Fun fact about me, before I was vegan, I was big into lifting weights and stuff, and I was big into eating a lot of eggs. One of my breakfasts would be a big plate of steak and eggs, and then after that, guess what I'd wash it down with? You're gonna hate this.
I'm scared.
I would take, and my wife would watch me like just in disgust. But I would take like 5 or 6 eggs, crack them open, put them in a cup,
Oh.
down the hatch, all of them raw. Then
Oh.
I'd go either, go to work out, or maybe I'd be coming from a workout. But I was completely a victim of the messaging.
Ooh.
And,
It's amazing that you're still alive.
she thinks the same thing. Yeah. Oh
Oh.
yeah. She was there watching me do it, and it was
Oh.
yeah, it was
It's a
not good.
great testament. Guys, this is a great testimony of what the human body can withstand and
True.
regenerate from and come back from and still stay alive. So, you're worried about, am I getting too much protein? Am I getting enough this vitamin B6? But like he was eating raw eggs, which
Yeah.
are salmonella, E. coli, parasite. I mean, all of it.
Yeah.
And the
A
body is so
lot. I
resilient
ate a lot of them too.
and
Yeah. For a
amazing.
while. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just so don't worry about eating a raw food diet, guys, because
Yeah.
you will never,
Well,
ever get unhealthy by eating healthy, ever.
yep.
And you don't need to have a certain amount of calories or a certain amount of greens, or you don't need to worry about having too much fruit or too
Yeah.
this or too that.
Don't overanalyze it. Just eat food. Just eat food till you're full
Yeah,
if you want.
yeah.
And eat
Thanks
food.
for saying that story. It's very important because people
Yeah.
are, and then they're getting stressed out about eating a sweet potato because on my channel, we're all raw here, right? We're striving to,
Yeah.
and then people stress about having some steamed fucking broccoli. And it's like you were eating raw eggs.
I
Like
can't.
God,
I
like
can't. Yeah. Yeah.
God help us. Okay,
Oh
now
my
question,
God.
because oh my God, the time is flying.
I know. It's
So
all good. I can go a few
question.
minutes. I can go a few minutes over too. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so ooh, there's a lot. Now, at the end of the day, James, there's been
Hmm.
no cultural roots of any tribes that were vegan. There's no large tribes in history. I heard this yesterday.
Hmm.
There's no, and by the way, Will Tuttle in his book, The World Peace Way, he talks about all the tribes, which I'll do a reading of very soon on YouTube. He
Oh,
talks
very
about
cool.
all the tribes that are vegan. But what do you say when people say, well, humans have never been vegan? There's no long-lived tribes of
Yeah.
anybody, any cultures on earth that are vegan. What do you say to this?
I say that's just people saying words that are looking at window dressed information propped up by interest, propped up by vessels that want them to just see and spout that said information. Just like Will Tuttle talks about in that book, there were plenty of different tribes, plenty of different cultures that were vegan. Give me a break. But people love the romantic story of going out to hunt. That's how we got here. That's how we got so evolved. It's all bullshit. It all hails from, I mean, literally, they don't know. They're literally being slaves to industry and keeping the perpetual shoring up of, those profits coming in by maintaining that messaging. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of different character, like figures and civilizations that were vegan, that for spiritual reasons, nutritional reasons, geographical reasons, those are just people saying words. And the words have so much weight and influence, once again, because we have that 98% non-vegan backdrop, and we can infer, you know, the strength of the inertia just from that number. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that when you do that. I've read the World Peace Way, but it's been a little bit now. I'll have to revisit it.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
good.
I,
And
I
I was
actually just
surprised.
ordered. I ordered Will's book just the other day. It's called Your Inner Islands, and he wrote this book on intuition, and it's one of his books I've never read, so I'm anxious to get into that one. But
I
just
never heard of it.
yeah, yeah, it's
Oh,
but great.
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's great and very relevant for this day and age where, me and you are trying to have people just look to themselves instead of looking to materialistic means outside of ourselves. So
Hmm.
I'm anxious to learn more and build my knowledge on intuition. So I'm getting the book. They said it's going to be here Monday, so I'm pumped. Anyway,
Yes, yes, yes. Now
yeah.
the next question is, well, if humans are at the top of the food chain, why shouldn't we eat animals? What are your thoughts on that one?
Once again, more just messaging that people recept and then are told to spout. And I had this come up Saturday night. I had this come up the same. This is the third one of the ones you brought up that have come up Saturday night. A testament
Wow.
to your accuracy in building these
I've
questions.
been on the street asking these dumb
Yeah,
fucks. What would they like to
yeah,
ask
yeah,
me? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that may be the case right now. We are, and I wouldn't really say we're at the top of the food chain. I would say that we have made ourselves seem like we're at the top of the food chain by way of our technological kind of growth, convergence, and exponentialities, and where we've come from since whatever we had to now what we can do, and the might is right, and the violence we can exact with our technology. I would not say naturally, if we didn't
Yeah.
have any of that technology, we would not be at the top of the food chain. Sorry.
We'd be fucking down there eating
Yeah,
fucking watermelon and oranges and
that's
persimmons and
it.
we would
Yep.
be on, please,
Yeah.
please. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
James, some people hunt And they say, oh my gosh, I saw yesterday on Instagram that Mark Zuckerberg, 1 year
Oh,
when he was in college, did you see this?
I
He
heard about it.
only ate food that he killed.
Yeah, I heard about it.
You
Yeah.
saw that.
How
Okay.
abhorrent, disgusting, and just cowardly. Like it just disgusting. I couldn't. I heard that. And it's like, wow, what an example you are. And I'm sure he's still I'm sure he still has favor with that kind of dynamic. It's just like these people are in these huge positions of power. Yeah.
Yeah, the other day I posted a reel on, I saw these pigs snouts people buying at the
I
store.
saw it. I saw that reel of yours. Yeah.
Now, a
Yeah.
lot of hate on that like a lot of comments from meat eaters saying, like, first of all, mind your business. So, what do you say to people that tell you to mind your business? Let people eat what they want to eat. Let people live and let live. What do you say to
Yeah.
that?
Oh my gosh. I say that's great. You're illuminating to the idea of choice. So let's get into that. Choice is a big thing. Choice is something that us as sovereign individuals should have, and we should be able to protect that. But how disingenuous is it when we use that to take away somebody else's choice? So there's a few choice factors here. We have the choice to eat meat and cheese and milk and eggs, and we have the choice to be vegan. Well, there's another choice that's at play here too, and that's the choice of the little animal. That's the choice of that comes from their purview, the animal outlook. And when you are a champion of choice and you believe in the freedom of choice and freedom in general, you are an absolute hypocrite if you are denying somebody else that choice underneath your lamentation.
Mm.
Um, so I'll distill that to them in more of a conversationally adequate manner when we're on the street. But that's my exact positioning on it, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think it makes sense to people too. But the thing that eclipses all of that is the conditioning. Because after I'll say that to somebody in a very friendly way and make it very articulate, the first thing that always comes from their mouth is, well, animals are different. They're not the same as us. They are this, they are that, they are numbers, in a manner of speaking. And that's the tell right there. That's a tell to the exact potency and efficacy that the narratives, the profit narratives have exacted on people. They have got people who were born vegan, innocent, pure, beautiful. They have got people to see and look upon their fellow animal brother and sister as a fucking number. And and that is part of the challenge of outreach, activism, and education is trying to, with compassion and in a spirit of partnership, help them see what really is like that animals really are just like us in all the ways that matter. um so yeah, that was a long-winded response, but yeah, that's how I usually position back when it comes to let live and let live.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
Yeah, yeah.
you're everyone watching this is
End of
going
the
to
day.
have to decide whether you want to argue with someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. They don't, because Paris said it really good. She said, we're not at the top of the food chain. If we were, we wouldn't be afraid of lions, sharks, tigers, cheetahs, bears, etc.
Amazing. Paris, that is amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, so
Paris is one of
true.
my fruity cuties. She's in Misfit.
Oh, awesome,
She
awesome.
knows. And let me tell you right now, what you said is so, that's how we live in my community. So, like, the least we could do on this earth
Yep.
is be vegan. And
The
everybody in
least.
my private community, they get 3 strikes. If I find out they're eating animal products, you
Yeah.
get 3 strikes. You out. Because we
Oh,
don't
right
play
on, right
that.
on.
We don't play that in my
Yeah,
world, I create my own universe. I'm living in my own little world here, and
yeah,
I want to be surrounded by people that are not paying and contributing for the animal holocaust. I
yeah.
am not okay with it. I will never be okay
Yep,
with it. And even though I have friends that eat dead animals, they know that I am not okay with it. This is not okay. This is not normal. This is not natural. We are not
yep.
designed in any way to murder and torture an animal. Now, James, what do you say about, well, I only eat humanely killed organic, grass-fed. The cows are living their best life. I only eat the best meat. I know the butcher, the farmer of the person. I know I visit the chickens, I pet them, and then the farmer kills. I only eat humane meat.
This is the fourth question that it came up Saturday night as well. This is the fourth one
No.
for real. And this is just also a testament to how amazing it would be if more of us get out there and start dispelling these. These are the most popular questions too, and I get them all the time. And
Wow.
start dispelling these on the street. I think I'm going to make a video at some point soon on how to do pop-up outreach and just a very
Please.
short and not too short, but kind of maybe a 10-minute video on what you need, what you can do, why you're perfect for it if you're a well-educated, well-learned vegan, and the necessity of it, as per how the 98% of the messaging is just keeps people fooled. Um, oh gosh, what was the question again?
I only eat humane meat and
Yeah, okay.
organic grass fed, and the cows
Yeah,
are loved and the chickens are loved. And
yeah,
Oprah comes out and she's like, she eats eggs, but the eggs come from her chickens on her farm
yeah.
and they have a beautiful life. They have a wonderful life. What's wrong with that, James?
Yeah, well, just look at how that's framed in a sentence, humane and kill. I mean, we got to question that right off the bat. I mean, you're putting the word humane and the word kill in the same sentence. Obviously, they don't belong there. And I'll tell you what I told the my guest on a Saturday night out on the street. My subject, my guest, my interviewee, which you want to call it. But I said, you can't you just can't you can't do that. Um, how did I frame it to them? There's really no way uh, it's more of a stark betrayal even. This is how I framed it. Like you have the grass-fed family farm, you have the mom and pop that seemingly care. Maybe they're naming the animals, maybe they're giving them back rubs and there's bedspreads and bunny rabbits everywhere. They're playing them Kenny G. It's a great life for them, right? They're having a great life. And they live with them for a little bit. Well, the animal might grow kind of an affinity for the farmer, might want to be pet from time to time, might follow them around. There might be a kind of kinship that's kind of fostered. Well, doesn't this sound like the greatest betrayal ever? When one day um, the animal has to take the long walk and be put on a certain truck with a bunch of other ones that are going to the same place to be cold. See, almost all of the animals that are on the grass-fed family farms, they're all going to the same slaughterhouse as the many of the factory farmed animals. So that's one thing people don't know. Like they
Mm.
might be treated so nice on the farm, but they're eventually going to be in the truck and go to the same place the other ones get their throats slit, where all bets are off once they enter those four walls. They could be kicked, spit on, laughed at, essayed up until the day that their throats slit, which is probably just days from then. But even so, if they do it on the farm, I mean, oh, the barbarity, the savagery that must be exacting. And can you imagine kids being around seeing this? Like on these family farms, I mean, I'm assuming that some parents want their kids to see this as per tradition. Can you imagine just the betrayal that is to our children as well, and having them being exposed to something so violent and taught that that's to be accepted? Um, so I would say that it's a very um, oxymoronic type of positioning, the humane kill, and really looking underneath it, it's just as bad as factory farming. That's if not worse, maybe. It depends on
Yeah.
different. It's not any better. I'm sorry. When you're taking the life of somebody that has a whole time horizon, you can never paint that as better, no matter which way you're doing it.
Unless you are literally finding a dead animal on the side of
Yeah.
the road, taking it and bringing it home and cooking it, that is when you can guarantee that that animal was possibly not tortured. It died of its own natural. When your dog or your cat dies and you want to cook its body and eat it, that okay, you want to do
Yeah.
that. I'm actually okay. You want to do that? Do that. I'm okay with that. If your pet dies and you want to eat it, but I
Even at
can't
that
think of
point,
another reality where
yeah.
that happens. Now,
Yeah.
okay, question real quick. I need to know about because somebody out there is eating cheese or fish
Yeah.
thinking that there is no torture and there's no abuse and there's no problems with that because, well, they don't have the same, like cheese, that's not an animal, and fish, they don't feel the same pain. So what are
Mm.
your thoughts on that? How do we
Yeah.
convince somebody and how do we get through to somebody who believes this lie?
I've literally had people on the street that say are fish plants, and there are some shorts that I have where they're literally saying aren't fish plants, and that you can look it through the
Oh,
shorts; they're in there.
oh
Well,
no.
I tell them about this book right here. This book is called "What a Fish Knows," and it's written by a guy named Jonathan Balcombe. And as you can see, it's a pretty thick book, guys. So there's a lot that a fish knows, and there's pictures. The guy's a fish researcher for years, and he laments all of his findings and yieldings, or his kind of findings of information in the book and from the journey that he's been on in his career. And you'll find out all kinds of things, interesting things about salmon and their GPS systems, just about familial dynamics, cerebral happenings within fish. I try to tell them, distill a little bit from the book to them and explain to them that that's completely on error. And their nociceptors, which are pain receptors, are actually more sensitive than ours. So when they feel pain, it's on like a 10x basis, if not more, than ours. And that's painful. Imagine a hook going through your face and then feeling that to a 10th degree. I can't imagine that kind of pain. I just can't imagine it. So I'll reference, some things out of the book, and I'll even tell them about the book, before we part ways. And
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna order it. You told me about it before we started filming, and I am getting this book. I never heard of this book, so it's a rare
he's got a
gem.
new one. He's got a new one too. He came out with a new one called Superfly, not too long ago, where he goes into the inner lives of insects. So now he gets really into the nitty-gritty of the smaller little creatures that we share the earth with. But it's called Superfly, and he just came out with that one too, not too
Oh,
long
that's
ago.
gonna be good.
So,
That's gonna be good. Now, I
yeah.
have two more questions. Well,
Okay.
okay. For people who feel it's too hard to go vegan, what's one first step that you think that they could take? Because when somebody tells you, well, I tried, but it's really hard, what is your advice if I were to come up to you and ask you, what would you say is the first step to going vegan and trying to make this connection that I don't have yet?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if I may, on that, like, yeah, I get a lot of people like that. When I'm out there talking, I do have a lot of people that come up with that kind of position in that purview. One thing I like to tell people is that you can never just make someone vegan on the spot. We're always planting seeds. We're just kind of leaving these things and hoping that they follow up with them, that they marinate with them, and then next time they come across another kind of profound circumstance, like coming up with or meeting with an activist or seeing something on YouTube, that it will kind of just water that plant a little bit more till they eventually decide for themselves that they want to be vegan. But that is a very kind of Genesis-like thing that people will come up with. That'll be they'll be kind of just saying like, this is just right off the bat, this is way too hard for me. I can't do this. Um, I don't like to go the whole small step route. Like, oh, why don't you just do baby steps? Because those baby steps, there's still somebody on the other end that me as an activist, I'm out there defending. And if I was being defended by somebody, I would not want the defender to say, just take baby steps. So I'll never have that like at a surface level as, what I'm trying to communicate. But if they're saying it's just too hard, I would kind of say, well, listen, I thought the same thing. And then the more I realized, a lot of the thoughts and the notions that I had been taught. It's really, really, really easy being vegan for 13 years. I eat the best Chinese food. I eat the best Italian. I eat American. I'm all over the grid. I enjoy every single meal, every single one of them. And I'm more fit, healthy, mentally there than ever. And I'll try to just be an example to them while I'm there, and then leave them with a card, like one of the cards that I hand out. So I
What's
can
this card?
Oh, this card. So this card is the card that I hand to people, and you can't really see it just because of the backwards thing, how
Mm.
the refracting happens online. But It's got some resources like we have my channel on there. I put The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear by Gary Yourofsky, the movie Dominion, some great books like The World Peace Diet, The Enigma of Vitamin B12, and just a few things. And there was a
Nice.
very nice vegan activist that made this for me. I'll just say that. But
Wow.
but yeah, and I'll give them some resource and maybe something will whisper to them later on to follow up and look at it and maybe think back of what I was mentioning about how easy it really is. And I'll look at that with compassion with that when if they come up and they posture like that. And just somebody coming up to you when you're doing outreach like this, you have to see that as they're putting their trust in you. I see activists all the time where they'll kind of do bait and switches. Well, they'll have somebody come up and they'll bait them in and they're like, what's this all about? Then all of a sudden they're getting attacked, the person on the other end. It's like, no, 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 no. That's more of an act of violence. Basically, it's going to seemingly come off as you're threatening their freedom, and they're not going to react optimally to that. All of this has to come from partnership and compassion.
Hmm.
Um, so, I think that that's an important thing to mention with outreach. But, as the said person comes up and declares what you said, that's how I will,
That's
proceed with
good.
that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Now we have some people in the chat. Could you share a link to the card to share with others?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's kind of
Well,
like your card that you made.
yeah, exactly. That my friend made for me. Yes.
So how can we make a card like this?
Oh, you can do it. You can go to what is it?
Canva is how I make my business
Canva?
cards.
Yes, Canva or Vistaprint. They can do it, and they're all relatively inexpensive for what you can get. And you can put any kind of resources on there.
I'm
Uh,
gonna make a card because I'm
yes,
going
it's
out.
fun.
So
Yes. Okay.
Thanksgiving, so
Oh, cool.
Thanksgiving Day, I am going out and I'm going to be doing my first like activism in years
Oh,
and years
heck
and
yeah. I'm
years.
going to be there to support in any
Because of
way I
you,
can.
I'll go live. And
Oh,
also,
yes. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited because, well, I'll tell you, it's a whole thing I'm planning. But yeah,
Let
it's
me
very
tell you something.
exciting.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Everybody watching, she showed me a few videos of her doing outreach from, I guess, like years ago, right?
Eight.
Phenomenal activist. Phenomenal. The interactions were just amazing. The way you were communicating, the way you were getting the message out there, the interactions were funny as hell, too. But I just think, yeah, that's amazing. I think it's going to be so much fun. I
Thank
can't wait
you.
to watch you when you do it.
I'm learning from you because
Oh,
you 100% right, James. It's not about blaming or what's the word? Like, I don't want
yeah,
to
just
debate.
kicking people when they're down. It's not
I
about
don't want,
that.
yeah, I don't want to debate. I want to have a conversation, like you said.
Yes. Yes.
And in the past, I was always like focused on, I mean, I see people walking their dogs. So
Mhm.
I didn't film a lot of it in New York. I just did it on my own, right? So
Oh,
I would
that's even
just
more
ask
badass.
people,
Yeah.
this is before Instagram,
Yeah.
like when I went vegan, there was no Instagram. So anyway, so I would ask people like, do you eat dog meat? Of course, they would be horrified. And then
Yeah.
they would say no. And I would say, okay, do you eat cow meat and
Yeah.
or chicken meat? Or do you eat, whatever, pig meat? And then they would
Yeah.
say yes. And I said, well, what's the difference?
That's a
And a
great
lot
little,
of
yeah.
people, James, a lot of people, as you know, they're like, um, cultural. Like there is no
Yeah.
difference. You're right. It's like
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
it, but they're just not thinking about it because they're
Yeah.
so busy living their life and doing laundry and picking up the kids and doing their job and just
Yes. Yes.
going along with life.
Yes. And how are they going to know it? How are people going to know if they're not outreached? Because guess
Yeah.
who's not doing us any fucking favors? Mainstream, which owns everything. So how are the animals going to have a chance if people aren't outreached? How are people going to have a chance if they're not outreached? It's for everybody, the humans and the animals. So it's such I think, an
Yes.
important vehicle and
Good
something that can
point.
be a lot of fun too. Like you have a flair for the melodrama. I have a flair for the I like theater. I like to express. I have like kind of a former acting background. This is something also that's very fun and enriching, and then we can look at to kind of, I guess, give us additional meaning just as per its kind of what it can do and what it can affect. So it's a lot of fun. You're an actor, you're a director, you're a producer, and you don't have to answer to anybody. It's you're the boss, you know? You are the boss.
Thank you. What do you think? I have one more question for you, but I want to know, what do you think about I think I've seen some people online do this where they have like a plate of like fake meat, like vegan meat, and they
Yeah.
say, I'm sampling Pomeranian meat today. Would you like to try some? Right?
Oh,
Dog
yeah.
meat. And like, okay, so people are gonna say no, but then I would offer them like $100 to try it. Like I was thinking about it, and then some people they're still going to say no. And then I would say like, so are you vegan? Like, do you
Yeah.
like those activists that try to
Um,
sample dog meat? What are your thoughts on that one?
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like, I think your idea is pretty cool how you framed it right there. As long as nobody's really eating something, they're not aware of what they're eating on a general basis, you know?
Hmm.
Like, I like how you framed it right there, but there are certain activists that will be like, hey, try this. And then they'll say, oh, by the way, it's vegan. And it's like, it's still, you're posturing out of deception. That's no way
Mm,
that a truth should be conveyed, you know.
mm.
It,
Yeah,
it-
yeah, good point. That, yeah.
I mean, we
Why
have
start with
to,
a lie?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, and that's going to set the basis for for this, and that's how they're going to remember this. Like he basically lied to me starting out. The way you framed it like that, how it's basically a dialogue catalyst, I like that. That's cool. That seems really cool. And
Yeah,
you
I
can just
wouldn't
have
actually
like,
want them to eat it because
yeah,
eating.
I know, and they're not. God forbid. Can you imagine? You
No,
know?
I'm not. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not going to let them eat it because, first of all,
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's not healthy, fake meat and whatever, like
yeah,
this vegan meat is not a health food.
yeah.
Okay, we have questions and James has to go. So, guys, we got to get through these questions.
Oh yeah, no,
Okay.
shoot away. I got
Ooh,
some extra time too. You know,
thank you. Thank you. Okay, wait. So, Anika says, thank you so much for being here, Anika. I think you're right. Activism for animals, the planet, freedom can't be wrong. But how do you achieve people's understanding? Well, James said it. You're not going to make them vegan on the spot, but it
yeah.
plants a seed. It
Yeah,
plants a
we can
seed.
plant seeds. We're out there to plant seeds, not to make people vegan on the spot. Choose complete naivety and ignorance to think that we can actually do that. And some people pull out all the stops to just get basically violent with people, saying, you do. I mean, it's absolutely a disservice to the whole movement, but it's championed, believe it or not, in certain spaces. So planting seeds, that's what I really think is
We should be
the
planting
biggest
seeds.
opportunity.
We should be
Yeah.
planting seeds, whether it's in the earth to grow fruit and vegetables or in other people's minds. So
Yeah.
that's what we're here.
And can you imagine,
Now,
if I could, real quick, can you imagine a bunch of us going out here and just in the spirit of planting seeds, like a person in each town? What a dream. But somebody that's there for everybody, somebody that's there for the collective, that's on the street with a friendly sign that gets people talking, makes people feel great when they leave, and wanting to think about these things, wanting to get underneath some of the deceptions that they've been told. What a beautiful idea to have just outreachers everywhere. I just think it would, and
yeah.
it would be a big threat to industry too. They wouldn't really like that because it would be kind of a symbolism of people waking up and learning more about how they've been lied to. But I just see that as something that may unfold that I would love to
Okay,
see unfold. But
let us
yeah,
know
sorry.
below, guys, if you are up for this. I'm going out
Yeah.
November, I think it's 28th, 27th or 28th, 27th, Thanksgiving Day, Thanksgiving morning. I'm going out. I'm going to be
Oh,
doing my first with a sign. I'm going to make a big sign
oh, I'm
and
gonna be there. Okay,
I'm gonna
awesome.
film. I'm
Awesome.
gonna film, and I'm
Oh,
gonna
heck
go
yeah.
live. And let us know below if you're down. If you're down to just stand with a sign, just be friendly, and just be
Yeah.
open to helping people that want to come up to you. You don't rush. Go up to anybody. They come up to you. And
Yeah.
I just want to say real quick, Primal Earth is 28 years ethical vegan, no
Oh, nice.
medications, no supplements, no testing, no
That's
jabs,
it. That's
and
it. Yep.
no doctor visits. I feel great every day at 68 years
Oh,
old.
amazing. You're a legend. Amazing. You're the standard. That is it. That is it. Awesome work. Awesome work.
Wow. Now, last question for you, Darren. Thanks for being here. He says, why do all your guests have great hair, great skin, and such a positive demeanor? Well, because all of my guests are not eating death and suffering and
Yeah.
violence. You see, James, somebody the other day wrote me a message and she said, I wish that I knew you in person, or I wish I lived in Florida so I could slap the shit out of you for filming that guy's cart, for not minding your own business. Somebody needs to slap you in the face. Somebody needs to punch you in the face. And I wrote
Oh,
to her and I was like, I know why you're so violent because you're eating violence. I'm praying for
yeah,
your awakening.
yeah,
The last question for you today, because
yeah,
we can always talk, we can talk about a lot. But
yeah.
for today, I want to know, well, what do you say to people that say, well, it's in the Bible and God allows us to have dominion over the animals. So why are you getting in the way of God's instructions? So what do you
Yeah,
say to that? It's in the Bible.
yeah. So the main thing I defer to is one word, and that's compassion. And I ask them, was Jesus compassionate? And I have them answer that. Of course, it's going to be a yes. And then I say, I believe personally that Jesus was the most compassionate man that has ever lived, personally, or at least, well, I'll usually answer like that. And then I'll say, what do you think Jesus would do in 2025 right now if he has the option to incur harm or has the option to boycott harm with his purchases? What would he do? And then they they're like, usually, they have to think about that. They got to quickly, get something. And it's like, well, it's written in the Bible. It's in the Bible. God's words never changes. And I try to point them to like the fallacy of that. Like, don't you see how ridiculous that is? You saying that? I mean, we know that the Bible has been translated many, many times. Things get lost. We know that man, with his kind of interest, has tinkered, adjusted it, and window dressed it as far as his agenda. So you have to keep these things in mind too. Now, if I start going down that kind of path, I can feel their temperatures rise a little bit, but I'm hoping that'll be something that it'll stick with them at least. If I sense their temperature rising a little too much, and then at a certain
Yeah.
point, once they hit a threshold, they will accept nothing you will say, and they're only going
Yeah.
to be thinking, defense, defense, defense. He's trying to, take away my idea of God. But compassion is what I just still will rein it back to. Compassion, that's what all the wisdom traditions of the Bible, the underlying thing is always compassion and the golden rule. And if you're bringing up religion, you're arguing for veganism, whether you know it or not, because the overarching or underlying message under all religions is the golden rule. So that's kind of how I'll
Do
frame
unto others as you would have done unto
it.
you, right?
Yes,
So do
exactly.
you think that we misunderstood the word dominion, or do you think that the Bible was written to justify addiction,
Yeah, I think
habit, and generational
yeah,
just
I think
conditioning?
man did that, right? I think man with his kind of tinkerings and adjustments in fitting it to its kind of his very separate um, um, living agenda. Like man is very separate. This is another conversation to kind of unpack, but the whole MO of like the elites are to keep everybody feeling separate, to make sure you don't feel interconnected. And
Mm.
yeah, I think that the Bible was just kind of, I don't want to use too strong of words, but it was really um, dishonored with its, in the real true messagings, in the real true wisdom of the Bible was really dishonored with its tinkerings and its adjustments by man to fit his agenda. Um, yeah, so I guess that's how I'd frame an
Yeah,
answer.
Eris Latham talks about this a lot, how, you call yourself Christian, but the first commandment is thou shalt not kill.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
therefore, how can you possibly be vegan, Christian, without being vegan?
yeah.
But we'll pick this up another day.
And
James, I
Dominion, real
love
quick.
talking to you. Oh, yeah.
This has been great. And Dominion is such a multi-pronged definition too. It doesn't have to mean kill, take,
Yeah.
eat. It can mean steward, protect, and defend. But people just go right towards what their line of view wants to see, and that's the kill, eat, and dishonor, basically. But yeah, this has been a great conversation. And I hope people have, I guess, listened a little bit. I definitely am going to make a video probably in the next 2 weeks on how to do pop-up outreach and
Please.
what you effectively need as far as the tools from like, microphone, or I brought these to like the audio stuff that you need that you can get, and it's really not that expensive. That helps for video production. and just kind of make it a little how-to. And
Yeah, that would be great. I
yeah.
mean, if you have time now, but I think you have to go, right? Yeah.
No, 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 no. I can stay for a sec if as long
Okay,
as
if
you
you
got a
have
sec.
5 extra minutes, tell us
Absolutely.
what do you use and what do you recommend for activism?
Yeah. So I recommend let me get this real quick. Ah, definitely need you definitely need one of these, tripod. You can get those for 30
Yeah.
bucks at wherever, Target. I have a backpack that has everything that you need, or all the compartments that you need, a nice vast array of compartments that you can put stuff in. Uh, a microphone, and this is where you would put I guess, the receiver. You have a receiver and a transmitter.
Ready. I'm ready.
Oh, nice, nice. What does your say on it? Are you? I love that. I love that. I was thinking I need to get something right here and superimpose a sticker or something. So I'm taking notes.
I'm
Um,
ready. I'll
a
send you the link to this. Very cheap.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. For sure. For sure. I'll take that. Maybe I'll put it out there in one of the outreaches. A card that has, like we talked about, and you can have fun doing this. All kinds of resources to put on here for people to read and pick up and research.
Yes.
Um, you also need to keep in mind the elements because you're going to be outside. I live in a place, I live in Maryland, so it's hot, it's cold, it's rainy, it's all the things. So I'm getting ready to, strap up with my Under Armour gear, Under Armour type gear, for the winter season. If it's windy where you're at, you need something to anchor your tripod, right? I have something for that. You want to just dress accordingly. Um, Also water, I bring water with me. I bring coffee. People will see me with coffee and they even make fun of me for always having a coffee when I'm doing it. It's all good. I'm just a coffee person, especially, when it's a little colder out. Um, a phone that can film, you know, um, that's pretty much all the things I believe.
And do you, when you have your microphone, like, it's connected to your phone, so
Yeah.
like, it's not like a speaker.
Yeah,
So when
exactly.
you stand out there, like, do you talk to yourself? Do you talk to people that walk by? Like, how do you approach the situation?
Yeah. Okay. So what I do, and this is what I would encourage everybody to do, is I have about an hour out there, right? I
Okay.
do have a lot going on. So as far as like stuff I have to do during the day, I work a lot, but I have the 1 hour and I make sure I optimize the hour. So I'm not just there just with a sign smiling. I'm engaging everybody that walks by, and it's only in friendly ways, right? So I'll just be like, hey guys, you want to try this? I have 3 quick questions. Why aren't you vegan yet? You know, some people will walk by. I'll get people that walk by and they'll say something nasty, after I say that. And you'll learn as this won't affect you. The more you do it, this won't affect you. You'll go up an innovation curve and you'll be like, yeah, it's just people making noise. I'll say something fun back, that might be proportionate to what they're saying. Like they'll be like, I eat meat all the time. I love it. I'll never stop. And I'll be like, well, it's kind of like you're eating toddlers, but because they're really young when they're killed. And I'll have something for when people, will say something like that. But for the most part, I'm trying to invite everybody in, be like, hey guys, you want to try this? They'll leave. Then I'll be like, 2025, you can do it. You can be vegan now. 2025. I'm very vocal. I'm very vocal. And then when I'm not engaging with people, guess what I got? I got the chat right there. And the chat could have and has had up to 500 people in it at once. So I'm not only out there talking to people on the street, but also sound bites are hitting the chat. And you could have 500 people in there that are all listening. You'll have trolls. You're gonna have them, but you have fun with them. You treat them like the children they are. You have fun with them. You make an example out of them. Not in a nasty way, but just in a fun, kind of like a,
Well, there's
you
a
know,
reason why they're called trolls and not
yeah, yeah,
cute.
yeah.
Okay, they live under a bridge and they look like it. Um,
They're
yeah.
typing like crazy. Yeah, just really getting their gun off. But they're harmless. They're all the trolls, they're harmless. And whether they know it or not, they're providing engagement and they're fuel for the fire of the outreaches. So you try to get everybody to and subscribe while you're out there, because that just bolsters the video, gets it more exposure. And you answer questions from the audience when there's no people walking by. So you
No,
have a
that's smart.
cacophony. Yeah, I take questions from them. And
Yeah.
you have a cacophony of things happening, and it's all in spirit of helping others see things. So
You're gonna do it. Guys, let us know below in the comments or in the live
yeah,
chat. Are you going to take the challenge and go do an hour of outreach? You know, there's 168 hours in a week. You have one
yeah,
hour to do something.
yeah.
And maybe you start with online, just in your house, you know, going
Yeah.
live like we're
Oh,
doing right
totally.
now. And yeah, this is going to help so much because, well, you know, it's hard to just sit back and not do anything. It hurts more. You know, for me
Right?
anyway, it hurts me more to not film at
Yeah.
the store when I see a dead animal's face in a
Yeah.
plastic thing. And I'm
Exactly.
just
On
like,
our
this
watch.
can't
On our
be on
watch,
our
right?
watch.
Yeah. And people are like, why don't you get a job? You'll get this a lot from the
I
chat.
have
Get
a
a
fucking
job.
job.
It's the
This
funniest
is
thing.
my, you know what? People
Yeah.
do
And
ask.
that's what I tell them. I consider this my fucking job. Yeah,
This is
exactly.
my
That's
life
yeah,
purpose to annoy
exactly.
you until you go
Yeah.
vegan.
People
Now,
love, yeah, sorry.
Primal Earth says, how do you guys feel about Gary Yourofsky's method, which has been very successful? Well, thanks for bringing up Gary Yourofsky because on December 5th, I'm going live with him here
Let's
on
go!
YouTube,
Oh
baby.
my, amazing,
December 5th.
amazing.
December 5th, baby.
Wow, yeah. So his approach, and can you finish that?
Oh yeah, yeah. Honesty and I said, what is his method? What would you call his method exactly? He says, honesty and compassion without holding back. His greatest speech video has converted so many. So, what do you think about his method? Honesty and compassion without holding back.
I love it. I'm gonna tell you something. I went vegan because of Gary. I've had him on my channel. He's one of my heroes, and yeah, I just love that man.
You've interviewed him?
I have interviewed him. It's on my channel.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
wow.
We did it. It
Oh.
was like the middle of August, I think. And the whole spirit of it was that I called it press play. That was the name of it. Like press play, get started doing activism. And he
Oh.
and me just kind of threw down the gauntlet. Let's all get out there. Let's get active. But I think his honesty. And if you watch my live streams, you'll notice that I echo a lot of Gary Yourofsky. I've adopted a lot of it because I love him so much. I think he's such a great activist, such a great person, and I've adopted a lot of his, certain sayings and sentiments, and I'll echo that in outreach. Like he talks about the meat and the cheese and the milk and the eggs, and I'll find myself. That's how I got that from him,
I
from
can't
his
wait to
Georgia Tech
watch.
speech, and I'll echo that, in the spirit of solidarity. But nothing but love for Gary Yourofsky.
Can you send me that episode so I can leave it down
Oh,
below on this
for
channel?
sure.
I bet a
For
lot of
sure.
people will love it. And I'm so excited because, you know, of course, he is a living legend. So, yes, I'm very
Yes.
excited to
And
interview him finally.
he's an open-minded vegan as well. He doesn't just go by what he's told by materialistic means. He's very open-minded. He listens to his own intuition. He's just a true warrior. I just wish there was more people like Gary Yourofsky on this planet.
Yeah, and okay, we do have to go, guys, but the chat is now popping. Basically, we got a
Oh,
troll,
cool.
and he says that God killed the first animal in the Garden of Eden. So, I mean, he was there. This guy was there, and he saw it. So,
What
James,
animal died in the
what do you have
what
to say
animal died in
about
the
that?
Garden of Eden? Yeah, I'm not aware of the animal that died in the Garden of Eden. I don't even know if it's worth following up with that. But the Garden of Eden was a vegan utopia. It was the absolute standard. We'll just say it was the absolute. How about that? And what followed was the greed of man. But that's a whole
Yes.
nother, you know,
We're devolving. We're not
yeah,
evolving. It's obvious. But
yeah.
just because we have these fucking cell phones and laptops doesn't mean we're evolving. I mean, it's
Yeah,
obvious.
right?
We are
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
extincting ourselves,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
We're destroying the planet, destroying ourselves and ourselves, like ourselves and
I love
ourselves.
that. Yeah, yeah,
And we're paying for it. And we're like, yeah, you
yeah.
know,
And the crazy thing
celebrating
is,
it.
many of the 98% don't know.
They
They
don't know.
don't know. And when people know better, we have found that they do better. But how are they going to know? We have to tell them in the spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood, you know?
I feel very, very positive after I speak to you. And
Oh, thanks.
yeah, I'm really grateful that you exist and people are listening to this because I think this is going to create a movement. I want people out there. I want people to start their YouTube or their podcast or get out there. Get out there because the reason why it's unsettling to you is because you're not doing anything about it. You were put here, you know about this, you're on this live to
Yep.
do something about it.
You can
in
be.
any way possible that you
Yeah.
can do. So whether that's write a book like Anthea, which I'll be
Yep.
going not live, but I'll be interviewing her in 2 hours,
Oh, awesome.
an hour and a half. And yeah, or you're gonna start your YouTube, or you're gonna go out there, get out there on the street,
Yeah.
go
T-shirts.
live.
Wear t-shirts. Anything that can prompt
Sure.
conversation. Wear pins. Just don't be scared of the what other people think thing. We have to get by that. We have to get by that because they want us conceding to that. They want us to conceding to the what other people think and feel thing. And if things are going to change, we have to see the
We
tread
have
through
to
the new
make them
frontiers.
change. And the only thing is we can't force anyone to go vegan, but we can do
Yeah.
what we can do. We can do our best.
Yeah.
Just to be
Yep.
friendly, conversation, not debates, and
Yep.
just people are waiting for this information, but
Hmm.
nobody's telling them. They're not going to find it on Instagram, their algorithm. They're not going to find it on
Yeah.
the news. It's you, and
Yeah.
one person. That's the ripple effect. So
100%. So
James
get
is
out there,
just one
everybody.
person. I am just
Yep.
one person, and we
Yeah.
are helping so many. And you
Yeah.
can do the same. So stop acting like there's no point because
Yeah.
you're only one person.
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Jeanette, for everything that you're doing and further amplifying, things recently. And we're just happy to have you on this planet and someone like you that can really, toggle that megaphone and start really putting stuff out there. So thank you for what you're
Thank you.
doing.
Thank you, James. You're inspiring me, and we'll do this again, of course. Love talking
Sounds
to you.
great.
And guys, let me know below if you want James back on my channel. And do me a favor, please don't eat anything I wouldn't eat today. Nothing that shits, nothing that has two eyes, nothing that you would not feel comfortable killing yourself. Okay? I'm comfortable killing an apple. You want to call it
Yep.
that? You want to call? I'm comfortable with it.
Right?
If
Yeah.
you're comfortable with killing an animal, then do it. Go and kill your animal and go, you can eat it. And you'll probably be arrested, by the way, if you try to do that. But anyway, like, you can't even kill an animal without repercussions in our society, but you can go buy it in the store. This is
Yeah.
insane.
Cognitive
It's insane.
dissonance. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna go to jail if you try to kill a dog.
Yep. Yep.
But you can go to the
100%.
store and get a chicken sandwich. I can't do it, James. But anyway, thank you everyone for being vegan, for being here and standing up and speaking out for the voiceless. Thank you,
Yeah,
James. You're
thanks,
amazing.
everybody.
Have a
And thank
beautiful
you,
day.
Jeanette.
Bye, guys.